Hello everyone, and thank you for joining the Zenly 2.7 webinar. Let's get started with the housekeeping legal disclaimer. I'll leave this up for just a minute to allow you to read that before we proceed on. Next, if you have any questions related to this webinar, you can use the chat feature in the GoToWebinar, and one of the consultants we have on the call with us will answer you. Any other questions can be answered with our direct support at 1-800-342-2599. We also want to note that there is a document that you can download that will give you more information on the updates that we cover today. I'll be your presenter today. My name is Allie Whitaker, and I'm the Professional Services Training Team Lead here at Calyx Software. Today we're going to be covering all of the updates in the Zenly 2.7 release. So I want to cover the new features first. We've added in the service of the Loan Product Advisor. So now you're going to be able to run Freddie Mac inside of Zenly. And with us adding that service, we had to also add in a new screen for the Freddie Mac addendum, which is going to be under your application heading. I'm going to go over and open Zenly so I can show you where these are and how you can run LPA. I've opened up a file inside of Zenly. You can see I'm on the Applications tab, and then on the left menu bar, we've got a new tab called Freddie Mac Addendum. So let me click on that. We can open it up and see. On the top right of this screen with the first submitting role dropdown, this is the first thing we're going to cover. This will allow you to select broker or correspondent lender. This will default for what you have in your company settings under your template, but you are able to change that. Right below that, we have the case state, and we have some options in there. Zenly will automatically select the pre-qualification status if the file does not have a subject property typed into it. Once it does have a subject property typed into it, this case state will then automatically shift over to the underwriting status. This dropdown can be found on the Freddie Mac addendum here, also in the services when you are running Freddie Mac. So if you want to change it then, you can also change it on that screen. If you wish to use any of the other statuses, please reference over to the Freddie Mac guide to see when that would be appropriate. Over on the left, we have the loan program with an add button. Let me click that. This dropdown is going to give you the options that Freddie Mac has when you're running Freddie Mac in the system to pick some programs. You can select up to 5 from this list and run Freddie Mac. If you choose more than 5, you will get an error. Let me scroll down so you can see the rest of the screen. At the bottom, we have the negative amortization question. So you would fill that out and then go ahead and click Save at the top right of your screen to save the information that you've just added. Let's move over to the Services tab and run Freddie Mac LPA. So we're going to go up to that Services tab at the top. And you do want to make sure that your file has had credit run inside of Zenly. You will need that to be able to run LPA inside of Zenly. We're going to go to the Loan Product Advisor on the left menu. When the screen loads, you'll see up at the top you have the submission information with 3 drop-downs. The first one is the transaction request type. If you're running LPA for the first time, you will need to pick the underwriting and credit option. The other 2 may automatically be filled in for you. The case state, again, this is based on if you have the subject property filled in Zenly or not. If it is filled in, it will automatically go to underwriting status. If it is not filled in, it will go to pre-qualification status. Your submitting rollover to the right, again, this is what you have filled out in your company default information and will be listed as a broker or a lender. When you have all three of those selected, go ahead and click the Submit button on the far right. You'll receive a pop-up that says the LPA is processing and waiting for results. Go ahead and click OK on that. This is Zenly sending out the request over to the Freddie Mac site. To be able to pull the results back into Zenly, you'll see that there's a refresh button where the Submit button was. You'll want to wait 10 to 15 seconds to make sure that the request has had time to go to Freddie, and then you can click that button, and this will pull the results back into Zenly for you. You'll see results as a case file ID and a loan ID, along with the response date and time and status below. If you've had a successful run inside of LPA, you will get a status of success and responses available. You'll see off to the right there are 4 icons of paper. Each of these is an item that you can open up and view. The feedback gives you the feedback of the AUS. All 4 of these will also be stored in the Documents tab under Stored, so they can be viewed either location. Now let's make a change so you can see what an error would look like. I'm going to go up to my application and go down to my declaration and remove a couple of these. So let's go back into Services and our LPA, and we can remove our case file ID. We're going to rerun this one so I can show you what an error looks like. I've gotten my results back, and you can see there is an error message section. It's got codes and then messages that tell you what you need to fill out inside of the application for LPA to be able to run successfully. So you'd want to go back inside of your application and correct these items so that you could rerun LPA to get results. There is also another type of error message that may pop up. So I'm going to go back into the applications and change something like the Social Security number, so it'll be very obvious that there's a big error. I'm back over to my Services and Loan Product Advisor, and I'm going to click Submit again. On these results, you can see that I don't have a response date and time, that my status does say success, so it looks like it did run through, but it says response available, and there is an icon under the message. We don't have the other 4 icons over to the right with our results. So if you click on this message icon, this is going to load a PDF with the errors it has found inside of your file. So you can see here it has invalid reference number with a borrower's Social Security mismatch, since I did change that. These are the 2 types of error messages that you may see when you're running Loan Product Advisor, and they give you messages for you to go back into your file and correct data or add missing data. In this release, we also have some enhancements to what we currently had in Zenly. So for the screens, we have under the application section, we have hid the application select form. It's found on the application and under borrower area. You can see from the screenshot that I have on my screen, we have that select form, and it had the loan application -2021. That is been removed from the program, so it will always start on a new application, the new ERLA format. I've also added some new income sources and some liability expenses for LPA to be able to run. On our loan screen, we have updated the buy down section and down payment, and now we have the CLTV and the HCLTV calculations that will now adjust as the down payment and loan amount and subfinancing are entered. We have a subject property. We have updated the subordinate financing information on that. And as well as the estimated cash to close, we also hid that loan application select form dropdown. In our documents area, we've removed the draft watermark that ran across the screen when you would generate documents. That is no longer there. And we also allow the ability to delete certain documents in the stored documents area. And we'll cover those. Let me go ahead and we've also added to the screens area under templates, the servicing setting. This is where you can, as an admin, update the credentials so everyone can run LPA. So this is a company level. Once entered, it will then be used for all users inside of the system. And we've updated the loan search on your main screen to default the sorting order of the status date from newest to oldest. And finally, our print enhancement is with the loan estimate addendum. It will now print the post-consummation fees without having to select the loan estimate addendum when you have post-consummation fees. Let me show you where we also have some of those screen enhancements that we've added in this release. A lot of them are due to us adding the ability to run Freddie Mac in the system. So I'm going to show you where those are right now. First one is under Applications and Borrowers, and it's in our Other Income source. Click the Add button for our income. In the Source dropdown, we've added in the Defined Contribution Plan, the Pension, and the VA non-educational benefits. All of these were added because of adding LPA to Zenly system. We also have in the Alimony, Child Support, and Other Expenses section. Let me click Add here. We have added the borrower's name up at the top, so you can select now who that is attached to if there are multiple borrowers. We also have an Omit checkbox down at the bottom for you. Another enhancement we have is under the Application and Loan. So let me click on the Loan. And we're going to scroll down to the Note Details here. The sales price, base loan amount, and the down payment will all work together now, depending on the sales price that you put in and the down payment. So let me give an example here. If we have a $100,000 loan, and we want to calculate a 20% down payment, we can either enter that loan amount or click the percentage calculation button. And I'll put in 20 down here and calculate. It will now give us the down payment amount. Let's say we adjusted that down payment to $10,000. It now automatically updates your base loan amount as well. Let's scroll down a little, and in this ratio section, we have the base CLTV and base HCLTV, as well as the total CLTV and total HCLTV. These will take into account any sub-financing and will adjust as needed now. Our next update is under Application, Subject Property, and I'm going to scroll down just a little bit till we get to the subordinate financing. I'm going to click the Add button here. And now you can see on the left bottom under the original loan amount, we have checkboxes for an affordable loan and deferred for first 5 years. This is also in addition due to us adding in Freddie Mac. We've also made some updates to the Documents area in this release. So let me go up to our Documents tab. The first one that we've updated is we have removed the draft watermark when you're generating any document. Used to have the word draft diagonal on your disclosure. We've now removed that for you. And we've updated what you're able to delete inside of the Zenly file. So I'm going to walk through all of those options for you. Starting at the top, we've got our credit report. This is an item that has been brought in by a service into Zenly's system. So you can see over on the far right, we do not have a trash can icon, so we would not be able to delete this item out of the stored area. The document below that, the borrower ID, this is a document as a loan originator or a processor I have uploaded into the system. I am able to delete these out, and you can see the trash can over on the right. Below that, in my initial disclosures package, you can see I have a borrower signature authorization and a disclosure notice. Both of these have a trash icon over to the right, as you can see. These are documents that Zenly stored when I requested signatures from the borrower with eSign. Below that, the next two are the actual disclosures with signatures and the evidence summary and the electronic disclosure and signature page. You can see all four of these do not have the trash can icon, so you cannot remove those from the system. Another area that we have updated is under our templates area. This is for adding in your LPA credentials for the system. So I'm going to show you where that is. We're going up to the templates area at the top. This is an admin area. And services settings over on the far left. Inside here, you would click the Add button over on the top right. And the Select Services drop-down is going to now have the Freddie Mac option for you. And Select Agency is going to be the Loan Product Advisor. Over on the right, then you would enter your ID and password, and TPO, NOTP, or your seller servicer number for all to use. Again, this is a company level ID and password, so once you fill this in, all of your users will be able to run LPA without entering credentials. And our last enhancement, I'm going to click up on the Loans tab. We have updated this view to automatically sort your status date from newest to oldest. This will help put the most recent files up near the top for you. You are still able to sort by any of the other headers just by clicking them, and it will reorganize your list. Thank you for attending today's webinar. We hope you received some helpful information. If we didn't get to your question during this webinar, we will reach out to you shortly with that reply. At the end of our session, you will receive a 5-question survey, and we would appreciate you completing that so we can improve our training program and follow up with you if you so choose. To further assist you, a recording of the webinar will be available through the Calix customer portal very soon. Have a great rest of your day.